Amaya Circle.
Hello.
We are coming to you as a trio today, and we are so excited. Thank you for joining us. We are Amaya. If you have never been introduced to us before, my name is Connie, and Michaela is over there on the other side. And we are Amaya. We are certified yoga teachers and life coaches. We're friends and mamas on a mission to help women connect to their passion, their purpose, and their power. And we offer online programs, live retreats, workshops to women to help cultivate peace and presence and purpose in their lives and reconnect with their powerful her. We want to know you're here. I see that someone is already watching. So let us know in the comments that you're here and with us. And if you have any questions about what we're talking about, or you have any Me Too moments, or any experience that you'd like to share, this conversation is really important to us, which is why we are doing these coffee talks, to just bring us all together and talk about things that are important. So without further ado, Michaela, would you like to reintroduce this lovely woman between us?
Yes, of course. Before I do that, we're going to talk a little bit about what the topic is today and why we chose this. We've been doing if you've been watching our coffee talks this month, we've been really kind of honing in on the holidays and how to become more empowered around the holidays and, be more present and take some and utilize some tips to help us avoid, experiencing the chaos and the overwhelm and the stress that the holidays can often bring, and move through the holidays with a lot more intention and presence and spaciousness, so that we can really enjoy the holidays and not move into the new year feeling exhausted and depleted. So we have kind of a theme, and today we really wanted to focus on how we can bring that presence and that peace into the home. And we have Meg here, who is our dear friend, and she did another coffee talk with us. And she is my go-to for anything, for pretty much everything, but let's be honest. But in home in particular is where, Meg really shines, and she's a home decor expert and offers home coaching and design therapy for individuals and audiences. She has an incredible YouTube channel, and her DIY videos are also on HGTV. She's been on Martha Stewart. She's been on Good Morning America, HGTV, DIY Network. But really her proudest accomplishment is really the love and relationships within her own home with her amazing musician husband, Will, and their rescue dogs, and certainly relationships in general, I know, are really important to Meg, and she is my sister and somebody that Connie and I love very, very much. And she has such wisdom of how to bring your heart, or what we call your her, really into so many areas of your life, but in particular, your home, which is a huge expression of who you really are. And she wanted to come on, and we wanted her to come on and share some wisdom of how we can utilize our home and plan for the holidays around our home in a way that nurtures this intention of having more peace and presence and joy this holiday. So Meg, thank you for coming back. It's such a pleasure always to talk to you.
Thank you for having me. I love everything Amaya. I'm obsessed with everything you guys do. And I am an example of someone who your work has helped tremendously. So it's like the least I can do is offer some tips to you guys and our beautiful audience about how to kind of extend that beautiful soul work that we do in Amaya into the holiday season, and particularly bringing it into our home, So my theory for home is that the job of our home is to kind of rise up and help us live our best life. So with the holidays here, I think it's a great time to talk about how our home can better serve us during this very joyful and peaceful time, or what should be and can be a very joyful, peaceful time.
Awesome. Excuse me. So happy. I just want to reiterate, so happy to have you here. It's always really fun to kind of let everyone in on what it looks like to sit around the circle, the three of us, and just
we do just have so much fun. So welcome and join us now, guys.
Yeah, welcome. Will is here and Laurie is here, and she says, "Good morning, beautiful ladies." And I told her to chime in as the gorgeous designer she is. So hopefully she sticks around and she can sprinkle in any of her thoughts. So Meg, do you guys want to dive in? Because I'm dying to hear all of this.
I think the first place to start is just thinking about prepping your home. And as a home coach, decor expert, and an empath, I am very affected by my external surroundings, but we really all are. We all are. So I think it's a great place to start is the environment can set the tone for the season. So let's start there. We're already in the holiday season. This is a great time to declutter. I highly recommend filling bins, bags of items that no longer serve you. This is a beautiful tradition and a really great thing to start with your children. Michaela's starting this with her kids. And I think it's a great way to just have it be a tradition that you do, that before you receive, we give and we create space for new things. It honestly kind of speaks to like some of the higher level soul talks we have, and it just gets that on a very like kid-friendly level. When we bring our holiday decorations out, sometimes the place can like look a little hectic, you know what I mean? Like if you keep all your tchotchkes out and then you also add Santas and stuff to the mix. So my mom taught me that she actually put some of her items just back in the Christmas boxes so that some of her everyday items are away. And then when you have your Christmas seasonal items out, it still feels kind of clean and fresh and it's not too much.
Love that.
I love that tip too. I just think it's smart. And it also just kind of gets in your head again, before bringing out more, we can release some of the old. And I think the most important thing with home all year long in any way, shape, or form, whether you just moved or it's the holidays, lighting. Lighting is always the best way to completely set an atmosphere. So you can add votives, you can add little battery operated votives to just keep it low stress, kid friendly, animal friendly. A simple string of lights on a tree can be all that you do. If you don't want to do a tree or you're not celebrating Christmas, a simple string of lights on your plants can just add a nice little vibe. So that's all about prep. I think that's a great place to like just kind of start is prepping. So gift giving, right? That's a big part of the holiday season. And particularly for women, we've talked about this, it becomes this huge stress. And I think it's important for us to remember that we don't give our love through items. Michaela and I were just talking about this yesterday. Gift giving, it's become a stressful, expensive, wasteful obsession that I am down for too. I love gifts. I love getting presents. I love giving presents. But I think we can be more thoughtful with this. So putting emphasis on gifts that support local charities, that's a wonderful choice. Or simply just choosing 1 to 3 very thoughtful, special items instead of getting a bunch of stuff for stuff's sake is a really intentional approach. Keeping your eyes open all year round for special items for our special people prevents a last minute rush and is easier on your wallet. So that's something good to kind of take into the next year. And while we're giving, I think it's also a great time to give to Mother Earth quite a bit. We have one home and her name is Earth. And so I think that we can be really, really wasteful with our wrapping, but I think there's some great easy ways to just prevent that. You can get one big roll of recycled brown paper, white paper, and I actually give a ton of DIY ways to do DIY wrapping in a holiday playlist that we're linking below. So it just can be creative, less waste, and things that you can keep.
I love that.
Hosting. And if there's any questions or anything in the comments, obviously I'm certainly here to answer. Feel free to bring anything, anything to me.
All we're getting right now is love from Lori.
Awesome. I'll take it, Lori. Thank you. Major love right back. So I think the another thing that can bring stress and hecticness to the holiday, but it doesn't need to, is hosting. When we're hosting, we often set unrealistic goals to be Martha freaking Stewart, who, God bless her, but we can't all be her, right? And sometimes we can miss the fun of the day, especially when we have kids. I think it's important, which I don't, but you guys do, so I'm speaking to you. I think it's important to be able to not put so much pressure on yourselves to create some magical thing. The kids, what they're going to remember is how present you are. You know what I mean? They'll remember those special moments. So you've already decluttered. It's a solid start. You're feeling great about your home. So if you are privileged enough to afford someone to hire them to clean your house, awesome. Take that off your plate. If not, I also think it's great to just do a quick clean and then just let it be and not put too much pressure on yourself. So say yes to friends and family who are coming to your event and they're saying, how can I help? say yes. Say, why don't you put coats over here? Or it'd be great if you could just empty this trash can. We're all in it together, right? If you want to experience more peace, your environment can make or break it. So it's decluttered, it's clean. Now let's make it smell magical. This will make you feel like an amazing host, and it's simply throwing a couple of things you have in your pantry into water. So I gave 3 recipes below in the playlists, and it really is one of those things that you can keep on the stove all day long, and it smells amazing. It creates an ambiance. Michaela remembers walking in my mom's house. It just smelled like Christmas, and it just felt like, oh my gosh.
And it's so easy. It's so easy. I remember, I always like going to Meg's place and I'm like, it smells like heaven. And you're like, it's so easy. You can do this, you know?
Literally throw some cinnamon into some water at the end. It's awesome. But I gave a bunch of recipes, so dive in there and see what's your thing. Yeah, and then you just add water through the day and it smells great. Essential oils are also wonderful. So you could do cinnamon, clove, maybe a little ginger. And my one big tip for hosting in the home is think of your home as a family member. It has good days, it has bad days. No need to apologize on its behalf. If it's not living its best life that day, honestly, no one's going to notice unless you point it out. So just accept it as it is and move forward. And
I love that, by the way. I'm sorry. Can you just pause? Because I think that's, for me anyway, a huge reframe, because I feel like, I mean, I get caught up in cleaning my house 500 times a day, and I'm not doing that anymore. But I think, especially around the holidays, that's an extra pressure that we can put on ourselves.
Yeah,
that's not necessary. I love that reframe.
Thank you. I think it's a good one. I think it's like the pimple that you have that like literally no one notices until you point it out. No one knows that your baseboards aren't perfect. No one knows that you know what I mean. Like it's okay to let that stuff go and just accept it as it is, you know?
I think that's so huge. I am constantly I mean, you were over the other day and I was apologizing. I am constantly apologizing. Even when I'm making food, I start to talk to myself like, this meal is not going to be good. I constantly apologize. This is like not even just Christmas. So it's really nice to reflect on that and hear that advice. I don't know if it's just like, I think about the way my mom hosts and she's just amazing. And she makes it look like she's, you know,
like it's so easy.
Like she does everything. She really does. And so just to say like, yeah, you can help, you can put the coats over there. I mean,
and we think that holidays need to be like perfect, right? But like a kid's going to be screaming over here. Someone's going to be sick over there. The drunk uncle's going to be doing, it is what it is. It's life. It's all here. And I think the home is a part of that sometimes we forget. We're like, that's the part that can look like the house in, you know, Home Alone, and it looks just perfect. You know, it's not realistic, and it's totally okay, you know, to just, when I came to your house, all I saw was a beautiful home. I wouldn't have noticed anything to apologize for. So it is some of that soul work that we do throughout the year. And we just want to apply that to the holiday, to a time where it's all about love and special times and connecting. So I think it's a good time to just apply that soul work there, you know, which is the perfect dovetail into planning for peace, like literally planning for peace. So we'll start with the most stressful thing. Everyone take a deep breath in. The budget. We're going to say no to expensive gestures and events when we have leaner years. And we're going to replace that with meaningful moments shared with family, like piling in the car, driving around to see holiday lights, just cozying up and watching a holiday movie together, making hot cocoa, decorating together. When we have intention to be present during these experiences, they're richer, they're more meaningful. So like everything in life, I think that the holiday season is a journey to be savored and not a destination to rush to. And that includes budget, cleanliness, gifts, everything. When hosting, create the intention to enjoy the process with your family. Instead of being the sacrificial lamb for everyone else, like for the meal, you can make one or a few main dishes. Like we were talking about, our moms might have done everything perfectly. It's okay to acknowledge that, you know what, our moms are goddesses, and we honor them by also maybe asking somebody else to bring a dish or to pitch in here. Honestly, that makes family feel good too. It becomes a sort of group effort. And then when people ask, can I do the dishes? Say yes. Say, don't put the silverware in the dishwasher, but yes, you know, like you can give any instruction you want. But I think that that's what it is all about. So all of this, all of my tips get to the main point of creating more spaciousness, less running around, more peace and presence, so we can be present and not just give presents.
I love that. I love that. And I think
enjoy it with them.
Yes, together, right?
Yeah.
I've been at events where the host is really stressed and trying to make it perfect, and honestly, it makes me feel uncomfortable, and that has made me be like, oh, hey, girl, do you do that? Let's reframe it. Let's reframe it and try to be present. So I've been that host. But then I read that Ina Garten says that she's barefoot and suggests slippers at her most elegant dinner parties. And I said, girl, that's a reframe I can get down with.
I also think if you're going to someone's house, bring something and look for the opportunities to help too. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of us do have a hard time asking for help. And I think that's something I try to be mindful of like, is the hostess doing everything? You know what I mean? That there's, especially with, typically I'm with my family, you know what I mean? And I can go and say, let me do the dishes. You go sit down now.
Totally.
I think we're pretty good about doing that. So I think that's a really good, something that I try to practice anyway.
Yeah, and there's that comfort level. It's like you kind of just jump in, like at Connie's house, like I'm just jumping in to be like, oh, I'll just wash this. So it's true. It's like hopefully you're with someone you're comfortable enough at the holidays to be like just grabbing the coats and hanging them up. Someone can always say, no, that's cool, I got it. But it's nice to just kind of jump in and help. And that way we're not just putting it all on the matriarch of the family, which sometimes that's what ends up happening.
Yeah. And I love the this thing about the budget too, because I think that for me anyway, the expectation that I think happens with the holidays that we don't often put a lot of consciousness around, to me, that's kind of the parallel between that and how do you feel after Christmas? If you're trying to meet an expectation of what Christmas is, or you're even comparing one Christmas where maybe you had more money than the next, and you're trying to keep maintaining that, and the feelings of resentment or shame when you move into the new year and you're in debt. So just bringing consciousness around that and reframing that for yourself of like, what is that anyway? What's that really about? Because at the end of the day, it's not about your presence. And me and my family are literally getting in a plane a week after Christmas. So my thing is, how can I make Christmas special and have their presents from Santa, but also like, I don't want to, we're bringing 4 suitcases.
Yeah.
That stuff has come up of and of how do you make Christmas special and not buy into consumerism and all of that stuff that's certainly loud right now.
Yeah. I have to say, I in the holiday playlist below, there are lots of tips and stuff like that for homemade gifts and things that you can do. But also, I have to say, I think the most meaningful gifts I've ever given or received were something like, we made my stepdad's childhood video and we made it so that he could watch it. And it was the best gift he's ever received. Or my husband put like a video of our dog together that could no longer be here. And it didn't cost much. It just took some time. So there's definitely something that we can be learning there. So I love that, Kills. It can affect exactly how you feel going into the new year. So why not start it off in a really strong place that aligns with your intention for life? So.
And another thing that my family does that I love was because my family was growing really big. I was just like, this is really getting expensive. Can we have a family meeting? And we all decided, like the older grown-ups, which there was a lot of us, instead of buying, presents for everyone, which like that's not realistic, and then you also can't get something really nice with that many people,
right. Per person. You're just scrambling.
Yeah, we were like, let's do a Yankee swap, and it's like we each bring one wrap present that we put a limit on how much it can cost. We put them all in the thing. We draw numbers, and it becomes this really fun game and family. We're Cullens, we're competitive, so it's like who's gonna get the present?
You and Morgan duking it out. The good one.
Yeah, so it's true. It's not about the money. It's just a reframe. I think we all need to remember.
Experience. You're right, Kales. I'm with you.
Tori's saying, I canceled Christmas dinner this year and ordering in so I can enjoy with my people instead of stressing in the kitchen.
Yes, Tori. So smart. So smart. That's just so wise. Like what you can take off your plate, go for it. Another friend of ours told us yesterday, they just did a big move And so she decided we're staying home for the holidays. If anyone wants to come to see us, great. We did that a few years ago when I was really ill, and we were just like, love you, mean it. We can't leave. You got to make choices sometimes that just serve your soul. So good one, Tori. Very smart.
Sometimes that's hard to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Certain personalities and families that, you know, they don't get where you're at and you need to take care of yourself. Sometimes that can be a brave and bold move, but you know, you sit your family down, your nucleus, and you talk about what's best for you guys, and you just have to have each other's backs.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think I'm up, and I think a lot of this is going to kind of weave into what we've already talked about. And last week we had Tori on a coffee talk, and we were talking about setting an intention with your family. And you know, this week I want to talk about like, what is your intention for yourself? So you know, we're in the middle, full swing of the holidays. Like, what do you want to experience during this holidays? Like, once the holidays is there, and it's January 1st, and you're waking up in the morning and making that cup of coffee, like, how do you want to feel? And what do you want to look back and have experienced during the holidays? And just sitting with that, connecting with what we call your her, and just getting really honest, writing it down, and creating like a 1-sentence intention that is grounding and you can come back to when you start to feel the chaos of the holidays or the overwhelm creeping into your path. We talk a lot about the power of setting an intention in all of our programs, and it's true. You know, for me, it's going to be just peace and presence, because we have a big move coming up, and that alone is a lot, let alone during the holidays. So peace and presence. And then, you know, keep coming back to it. Is what I'm spending my time, energy, and money going to support peace and presence? If not, you know, not going to do it. And honoring that intention, I think, is really important. Say yes to less. I think, like, and we talk a lot about this in our Amaya programs, and Back to Her, there is no greater, I don't think, expression of self-love than being mindful and consciousness, and being conscious around your bandwidth and what you say yes to. I myself, you know my story, if you've heard Connie and I share it, I hit burnout, and I was doing way too much for too long. And it's a recipe for disconnection and illness and all of these things. And I just think it's really important, particularly during the holidays, say yes to less, and be very conscious and mindful around what you say yes to. And Connie was mentioning that it's hard to say no, and I think that's really true. And I think a lot of times we need to remember that as long as we're honoring what we are capable of and what we can do, then whatever somebody does with that is, it's their story. It's the stuff that they need to work on. And we can absolutely say no with love and grace.
Yeah.
And I just think that's important.
And might I just add on to that, of where when you say saying no is really hard, buddy. But sometimes I've had to learn, because our last coffee talk was about chronic illness. So I have a chronic illness. And so I had to learn when I was really ill, and still now, that I need to sometimes, instead of just saying no, I say, what's best for me is really to rest. Like, I'd love to be there, but what's best for me right now is really to just order in some food so I can be present. So that's so wise, Tori. And I know Tori is one of those women like us who usually is the one that does it all. And I know that had to have been hard. So I honor that adaptation. That's very smart. So we don't have to say no. We can say, thank you so much. What's best for me is to actually just miss out this year, but you guys have a great time, and I'll see you in the way that makes me feel comfortable.
True. I think alongside both of these, how we can set that intention, how we can say yes to less, how we can fill up our own cup so we're not starting the new year depleted, is just carving out time for yourself. So kind of, if you're in this family environment and your Auntie Sally Joe is asking, like, when are you getting married for the 100th time? Or your kids are bouncing off the walls, or, drunk uncle is like talking to you, asking all these questions that you don't want to answer. It's having kind of like a plan of escape, you know what I mean? Whatever that looks like for you. And, looking at your schedule ahead of time, and, upping the self-care and making it a priority, I think is really important for self-preservation, and also just to give yourself a timeout, right?
Yeah.
So that was my other tip.
And that's great that we can also ask our partners for help when that's tough, especially busy moms, it's important to have those moments. Like I'm going to keep up my yoga and meditation in the morning. And so I'll ask my husband to support me with that in whatever way that looks like. So we can ask for support with that, which you guys have taught me and helped me learn how to implement. So, yeah.
Or even in those moments with the triggering words, are you going to have another baby? Are you getting married yet? Maybe you just tell your partner or friend or family member, hey, if you see me cornered and hear any of these words that are really triggering for me, can you come in and have my back?
That's such a great point, Connie. That's a great point. That's a great partnership moment. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Kathy's here. Hey, girl.
Hey, Kathy.
And Will said, I got your back.
Oh, I know you do, babe.
Love you, Will. And I don't know if did you call this out that, Laurie, I love this. My siblings and I decided years ago to make donations in each other's names to the charity of their choice. Then we just exchanged little stocking stuffers. I think that's so
great. Love that. I love that.
Great. And Laurie called you, said so wise, Michaela. So kind of piggybacking on what Michaela said, really carving out time for yourself is going to take me to talk about maintaining your daily practice. We really think that the best holiday gift you can give yourself is time with yourself. So what does this mean? Taking walks maybe by yourself. It's great to take walks together after a meal or whatever and have your time with your family in a precious way. But what about a walk by yourself? What about time to meditate by yourself? What about time to practice yoga? Quiet time alone.
Yeah.
So important. We've started to lose the reason for this, this lovely season and with the travel, the obligations, everything we just all sort of talked about. So carving out time to have a sacred practice that's daily and that you commit 110% to even more now will help you find your home base. It'll create structure and a peaceful foundation that will help you to experience more peace and handle stressful situations in a loving way instead of temper tantrums and arguments and taking everything in and holding it in your body. And then you, like Michaela said, you wake up January 1st and you're like I didn't enjoy one moment of that.
Yeah.
So maybe having control of some peaceful, quiet time to reflect on what you need and what your her is telling you can help set that up for you. Maybe you have no idea what I'm talking about with a morning ritual or a daily practice. And if this is interesting to you, we start our next Back to Her program February 4th. And before I tell you a little bit more about that, the last thing I just want to say is to honor your feelings. Sometimes the holiday means time with people that bring up supercharged emotions and you feel uncomfortable. Sometimes the holidays bring up feelings of grief and loss. So again, like instead of taking it all in and pushing it down and holding it and feeling crummy when it's all over, honor where you're at and be honest with your feelings and, reach out and talk to someone that you trust, stick with your spiritual practice and really take a moment to breathe and honor your feelings because they're really important. What you are feeling really matters. So don't pretend that it doesn't.
And do you mind if I just say feelings are, they don't, it's like energy. It can't be created nor destroyed. So feelings won't go away. So when we don't honor them, they will find a way to come out in some way, So I have some grief that some people won't be there this year. And Michaela and I were talking about how my intention is to find ways to connect with them and feelings will be there in whatever way. So I think you're so right to honor them because they'll find a way to.
You will. And if you need to excuse yourself to experience that, excuse yourself. If you need to leave a party because someone is really, not serving your energy the way it needs to be honored, then thank you for having us. I'm not feeling very good. We're going to head out early, So yes, our Back to Her program. We are so thrilled to just keep going with this because you are signing up and joining us. So We have a special holiday discount that ends January 11th. So maybe there's a woman in your life that you're listening to this conversation that you know would benefit from this. Maybe it's you. But we have a holiday special, $197 until January 11th. And you can sign up at the link that I will post in the comments and this link right here. We would love to have you.
It's the best gift you can ever give anyone or yourself. I just, as a student, just wanted to just jump in and speak to that because it's your program. So, I know, trust me, it's the best.
You've taken it 2 times and her mistress mind 2 times. You can speak.
I really can. 3 times because I did it last year. And I'm like, I'm gonna be there in February. So I am so excited. It's such a great program. And the proudest thing that I have accomplished this year is creating a daily sadhana of yoga and meditation. And that is thanks to you both. So anyone out there who needs some grounding or feels a little lost or overwhelmed or that just wants to honor what they want or they don't know what they want, I really cannot attest to this program more highly than I am right now. It's amazing.
Thank you, Meg.
Sorry, jump in.
Do you want to tell everyone really quick how long you've been consistently doing meditation and yoga?
On the 17th, it will be 6 months, every single day of yoga and meditation. And I am someone that 1.5 years ago, I fell in the shower because my vertigo was so bad. And I have 2 chronic illnesses. And it's been a big year of grief and change. And I've maintained every single day for 6 months and 3 days, 6 months meditation and yoga. Doesn't mean I do it perfectly every day. It means I find a way to have it meet me where I am. And that has seeped into other places of my life and made me a more patient, present person. So it's wonderful. So thank you for that accomplishment because I could look back on this year and be like, it was just a tough year. No, this was a year that I created something that I'm going to take with me for the rest of my life. So
yes.
Thank you both.
And I want to say too, alongside if you are already an experienced yogi doing a daily sadhana, maybe it's something that you already know, but what I think makes Back to Her different is, these coaching paradigms that really take your sadhana to a deeper level. So it's not just the yoga and meditation. We're adding and weaving in all these ideas that help you dive deeper and find transformation, I think, in a more profound and not quicker. I don't mean that we want to have these experiences like fast, right? But I think that you're just accessing them on a deeper level and it comes very, very easily if you allow it to.
That's what I was going to say. It's more accessible. It's very accessible.
Yeah. And again, you don't need to be an experienced yogi either. There are people that have never done yoga or meditation before. So I think that's another special thing that, it's for everyone.
Meg and I were talking about this today. The daily practice creates a wonderful container for us to see how we're showing up and to see what things we need to work on from like a coaching perspective. So it's really, really cool how the coaching, the yoga, and the meditation all really facilitate a very profound transformation. I mean, and it will happen in 40 days just because of how they work together. And then you add in the circle of sisterhood and everybody moving through the same experience. It's just really cool. It's really cool. And I say that like as a facilitator, but it's a collective creation and collaboration.
Yeah.
It's a sisterhood really for sure.
It is.
Sisterhood of the traveling yoga pants.
Yeah.
I love it. That's our next coffee talk. Before we head out too, I think that because I've been thinking a lot about ritual lately and, it takes us 30 to 40 days to change a habit. So this is why these programs are so long. 40 days is a sacred number in yoga and really throughout life. But we need, I think people are like 40 days, like there's no way I'm going to do that. And look at you 6 months in because you've created such a healthy habit that you don't want to live without it. And, it moves with you, the sadhana, it changes with you.
I now you couldn't pay me not to do it. And there are ways you can set up your home to make it so that this is very easy to do. Yeah. And so that's something that I'm going to be also bringing into my YouTube channel and my home coaching and stuff. So I'd be more than happy if there's anyone who needs help of figuring out how to do that. That's so important, just creating that sacred space. Then it meets you where you are. And it's just right there waiting for you in the morning, you know? So
Love it.
Yeah.
thank you guys.
Let's read the comments. And Meg, you're going to post where we can find you in the comments as well. Or we'll do that when we finish here. But Laurie says yes. Tori's saying, wahoo, time for a coffee talk with you. Let's see what else. Meg is an inspiration. Kathy says, I agree, the best gift you can give yourself. I feel lucky to know you three smart AF women. Just saying, says Tori. Lori says, and the circle of support is so valuable. Thank you for all your love. Look at all these alum on the coffee talk. Thank you for the love.
Thank you guys so much for having me. You can learn about me as a home coach on my YouTube channel, Meg Allen Cole Crafts, my socials, my name. And starting in January, I'll be taking on home coach clients where I'll be able to help you make your house the dream home that you've always wanted, whether it's a studio apartment or a townhouse or whatever. So start right now by making this holiday season a peaceful one in your home. Thank you guys so much for having me and starting my holiday season off perfectly peaceful.
Thank you so much.
Come anytime. We love having you. You're just so wonderful.
I love it. Well, happy holidays to everyone and peace and presence to you two ladies and everyone watching.
Likewise. Likewise.
Bye everyone.